I think there's something kind of magical about gardening. When we were kids, I think a lot of us remember just being amazed when we saw a little seed go into the ground, sprout, and develop into a full plant. And even as adults, it just doesn't lose its magic. It's always amazing, every time. I think a lot of us have special memories associated with gardening. Whether our mom just had a window box with a few fresh herbs growing, or we had a vegetable garden in the backyard, there's all those aromas, the fragrances, the sights, the sounds, the smells. It brings back those memories. You know, many of us, as we moved into the cities and we have smaller apartments, or we're just busy with modern life, we don't have the time or the place anymore to garden. And so I'm really excited that the modern technology lets us bring that feeling, that sensation, and the beauty of gardening back into our homes, and in a way that we can do it all year round. I think that's awesome. My name is Randall and I'm the founder of Garden Bite. I studied mechanical engineering at MIT, and I focused on robotics. While I was an undergrad, I worked on the MIT Cheetah Robot project. I also won first place in the MIT robotics competition class. One of the new things I learned was about permanent magnet motors, looking at the current torque curve and figuring out how to get to that max power point.
Wow, what a great finish! Wow!
This is a picture of me with my dad after winning the competition. I think that was a really special time for both of us. While I was working on my master's degree at MIT, my dad passed away suddenly and unexpectedly, and I found myself really struggling to get work done in my research. I think my motivation just took a huge hit from losing Dad so suddenly. And so around that time, just sort of out of curiosity, I bought a cheap hydroponics garden online and set it up in our apartment. And on the one hand, it was so cool to see that in the middle of winter in Boston, you could grow fresh herbs that you can use in your cooking. But on the other hand, I felt like this cheap little garden was so poorly designed. Not only was the outside very ugly with this cheap plastic case, the light was bright and annoying, and most of the light actually just sped into the room and didn't even focus on the plants. I just felt like this could be a lot better. And so I set up a home laboratory. I turned our spare bedroom into a little lab and started building my own custom hydroponic system. I tried growing those exact same seeds from that cheap hydroponic garden and put them in my custom system, and they absolutely flourished. And I realized there's something here, this can be a lot better. And so over the next couple of years, I spent literally thousands and thousands of hours just researching hydroponic science, plant science, everything I could get my hands on. I'd go through every book in the library, read every scientific journal article I came across. I just wanted to learn all there was to know about hydroponics and how to make it as good as it could be. And at the same time at home, I set up dozens of experiments. I tested different pH levels to find out which one was best. I tested dissolved oxygen levels, nutrient types, nutrient solution, different types. I tested out different lighting systems and different brightnesses, everything that I could think of. And so I learned a lot along the way. And then at some point, I realized that I wanted to make this into a product that I could share with other people. And so I started to think about how I would design it. I realized that making a tabletop garden would make the most sense, something that was small enough to fit in any home or apartment, but still was big enough to grow a meaningful amount of herbs for cooking. As I worked on the design of the garden, I settled on a very simple and minimalistic but modern design that I think fits in with any kind of decor. For the material of the outer case, I decided that wood would be the best material to use. It's organic, it's beautiful, it's timeless, it's warm, it's comforting. At first I was thinking about using plywood just because it's easier to work with, but I realized that there was nothing that compares with the beauty of solid hardwood. And so I set out to find a local supplier. I stumbled across Forest Product Associates, a local lumber yard here in Massachusetts, and the owner, Sue. And she was just amazing. She knew everything there was to know about wood. And she kept all the best wood in stock. And so I decided to work with her.
Welcome to Forest Products. My name is Sue Fisk, and this is my place. Every stick is sustainably harvested. When wood goes into furniture or into products, it becomes a CO2 bank. And we kind of like the idea that that's just a little additional green thing. You know, notwithstanding the thing that trees are giving us oxygen, well, they can also tie up carbon. Sustainability is still the cornerstone of what we do here. Everything has to be sustainable or I won't have it.
So after we get the wood back from Forest Product Associates, the next step is to CNC machine it. And this process basically leaves us with the pieces that we use to make the case. We glue them together, then we do a process of hand sanding and then a hand application of 3 coats of oil-based finish. And the result is spectacular. It really looks beautiful. When I set out to build this garden, I knew that I wanted it to look so beautiful that you could put it in the best restaurant in the world and it wouldn't take away at all from the ambiance. It would only add to the beauty of the space. And I think we really did it.
It's beautiful. I really think it looks awesome. At first I was a little bit worried that it might be too big for a smaller space, but as soon as I saw it, it feels very much like a window. So you kind of, you know, just get a little bit extra light in the place, and who hates that, right?
What I love about the garden is that when I look at it, it is so sleek that all you see at first is the planter. And not in a gaudy, obtrusive way. For me, when I see it, I see a beautiful architecture that it's giving you what you need, and it's doing so beautifully, but it's also, you know, kind of exclusive in a way.
Yeah, so the design of the garden, so I've had obviously a couple other little gardens, and I think this design to me just really, it's just much more practical. I think for, you know, day-to-day herb growing and day-to-day growing of things indoors, especially for if you're, you know, making meals all the time and using the herbs all the time, it really lets you use some of it, but then allows for regrowth. But also it looks really, the aesthetics of it, I think, blow everything else out of the water.
We've spent countless hours refining every aspect of the design of the garden. We've used nothing but the highest quality materials and components every stage along the way. The light bar is made out of a solid piece of crystal clear acrylic in order to be unobtrusive and ethereal. The LED lights are powerful enough to simulate full sunshine, and we used an advanced thermal design to fit all that power in a super thin package. With our hydroponics technology, the plants grow 3 times faster than they would grow outdoors, so you'll always have plenty of herbs for your cooking. And because the plants are growing indoors, there's no need for pesticides or herbicides, so the herbs are naturally organic. There are 4 different types of LEDs, so that the garden can smoothly transition from growing the herbs during the day to gently illuminating them in the evening. The polymer lenses and shrouds make sure that the light is focused on the plants and not shining out into the room. The light sensor and color sensor on top detect the lighting conditions in the room and automatically adjust the lighting in the garden to match it. The grid array allows for almost infinite possibilities for how to arrange and space out your plants. The garden has integrated sensors that monitor several environmental variables so that it can automatically take care of the plants in the best possible way. And with over-the-air updates, the garden is always getting smarter. The mobile app lets you monitor and control the garden remotely and lets you know when the garden needs attention. And with travel mode activated, the garden will automatically care for your plants so you can have peace of mind while you're away. There are 3 different types of wood cases so that you can style the herb garden to match your decor: walnut, cherry, and maple. The design of the herb garden is essentially complete, and we have already developed many of the manufacturing processes. We've been working on the electronics for over a year, and they're just about ready for production. Now we need your support so that we can purchase the materials and components for the garden in bulk, finish development of the mobile app, and perfect the rest of our in-house manufacturing capabilities. There's a whole unexplored world of herbs out there. Thousands of varieties are used around the world, and I think it's going to be amazing when people can grow any of them in their home year-round. Whether you purchase a garden or just pledge $1, every voice of support means the world to us. If you believe in this project, share it with your friends and family, and help us get the herb garden out into the world.